productivity, work 24/7 or head. For some reason, employers are sure that if you make an employee solve a bunch of cases in a limited time, it will save time and speed up to the receipt of the result. However, this is one of the productivity myths, perhaps the most widespread and misleading. So what is real productivity? Being productive and being busy are two different processes. The Pareto principle states that 20% of the effort gives 80% of the result. A standard working day consists of 8 hours, and an experienced employee can do his main duties in 2 to 3 hours. And in an ideal world, we would be free to manage our time in such a way as to get benefits, but in reality, for the remaining 5 to 6 hours we have to find things to do in order to create the appearance of work. The main secret to productivity is getting your priorities right. This is obvious, but not so simple. At the moment of full load, it seems to us that everything required is important to complete in the very near future. There are many techniques for ranking tasks, but the easiest one is to figure out the urgency of the task and the time allowed for the task to be overdue. Of course, accuracy is a courtesy of kings. But the reality is that time frames are often set too tight, and it will take much more time to complete a particular task than it seems at first glance. Another important thing is time management. Just to be productive, you need to choose not the most popular scheme, but the one that will make your life more convenient. Someone can get up at 6 in the morning, solve basic problems before 2 in the afternoon, and devote the rest of the time to self-development. And someone just wakes up at 2 in the afternoon. And that's okay. Time management boils down to finding the perfect balance between work time and rest breaks. You cannot force yourself to work if there are signs of overwork, emotional burnout, chronic fatigue. In this case, the results of labor will not be pleasing. Besides, the constant feeling of guilt and disappointment in oneself will put an end to not only productivity, but in general to the desire to take on something. The ability to plan your life is the key to success. But there is a fine line. Being flexible does not mean not sticking to a plan. And being pedant means missing out on opportunities that suddenly come up. You need to understand the balance of power, assess the situation sensibly and make an informed decision, taking into account the new variables. And you also need to be able to ask for help in time. Teamwork, adequate delegation is the key to productivity. There are 4 main functions in management: planning, organization, motivation and control. It happens that motivation is pushed into the background, believing that money is the only thing that worries the employee. In fact, a well-built scheme of rewards and punishments leads to an effective distribution of forces. And even if a person is his own boss, this does not mean that he cannot have certain incentives. Someone allows himself to eat a cake after successfully completing a task. Someone is watching a series of his favorite TV series. Intangible incentives often work better than money. And you should always remember that it is impossible to grasp the immensity. It is often impossible to manage to do everything conceived, so you can work out certain rules for yourself. For example, out of the entire plan, it is imperative to complete at least 3 tasks, half to complete 3 more, and leave 1 or 2 for later. Unfortunately, there are no universal habits that work for everyone. We may be inspired by the examples of successful businessmen, but their life path is individual and may not suit us.